right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. It is another beautiful day out. Today is Wednesday, February 6th, 7:25, pre-morning sessions, and here enjoying a cup of coffee. So let's dive into the markets. I'm going to start off with Google because it had, well, I talked about it yesterday. I think I started the show with Google yesterday, and I just wanted to touch base on where it stands. So it basically dropped, in the after hours, day before yesterday, from 206 all the way down to like 190. And it, yesterday in my morning report, I said that it fell right into some solid support right here. Okay, right at that top pivot right there, 50-day moving average right here on the daily, and pretty much right below this trend line. So it's kind of hovering right here. It didn't really move much yesterday. In fact, if you look at the 10-minute chart, I mean, it just went fucking sideways. It dropped into that 189 pretty much, and just kind of moved sideways. It went a little bit lower to 187, and it just went sideways all day long. It was so freaking boring. I thought there'd be more, volatility, a little more action yesterday, but it didn't do shit. But it held. So the question is, does it hold, for long, or does it, fall even further from here, or can it recover? We'll find out. I mean, it's definitely into some solid support. It's certainly a good level for it. Is it possible for it to go a little bit lower? It's possible, but we'll see. But yeah, it pretty much did what I expected it to do. I knew it was solid support right here. I honestly thought there'd be a little more, action, and I was kind of hoping it would make its way back up above the trend line at least, close a little bit higher, and it didn't do that. So it's kind of hovering here. We'll see what happens. So Amazon reports tonight. We'll see what Amazon does after hours. But let's talk about AMD real quick. AMD dropped. All right, and it had a nice bounce throughout the day. Personally, I think this has still got lower to go. So when you measure the top of this pivot high right here, this candle right here back in March of last year, all right, measured move down to here, and then do your math. I went through this yesterday in my last video, so if you didn't catch it, please go back and watch it. It brings it down to 107, and it tagged 107 yesterday early. There you go. Pretty much, it even dropped. Let's see, what was the low on this candle? 106. So it fell right below 107. But if you do a Fibonacci retrace on this from, let's go to a monthly. Right, maybe from here. No, let's go to the lows. So I'm going to go to Fib. I'm going to do a Fibonacci retrace, and one day maybe I'll explain what Fibonacci is all about. Right now, I honestly, other than using this method, I don't know too much about it, but it's, I know it has something to do with, I think it originated honestly with your body part, from your belly button up to your head and down to your, I don't know. I think that's kind of where, but everything in life apparently has a Fibonacci. It's kind of cool. I've read very, very, very briefly about it, but I'd love to. I'm eventually going to learn a lot more about it with my studies, but one day I'll explain more about it, hopefully. Anyhow, so you take a Fib retrace from 2018, which is kind of the lows. All right, obviously, I mean, there's lower lows here, but this is good enough for a low. All right, and all the way to the top. So when you look at it, it went down. Right now, it's trading below the 50% retrace. So it had a 50% retracement from the top. All right, so it's halfway back down, to its lows. Now, it's at the 50-day moving average on a monthly basis. The rest of the semiconductors are at resistance. Nvidia earnings comes out in a few weeks. If the semis go lower, or if the market continues to go lower, I would not be surprised to see AMD trading at $92 or in that $90 range. All right, that's a 618 retrace. That's a big level. So it's on its way there. I think I wouldn't be surprised. So let's get rid of that. Let's talk about Nvidia. Nvidia, as AMD went down yesterday, Nvidia got a bid. It went higher. It actually really went much higher. All right. I mean, I was surprised to see how high it went, but this thing traded from 120 all the way up to 124. In fact, no, I'm sorry. The day before it closed at 118. So it went from 118 up to 124. That's a big move. But I think it's short-lived, my opinion. But it's trading right here into some solid resistance. All right, it's got a lot of overhead right here. It's just money rotation. People left. Investors got out of AMD and they went back into Nvidia. Nvidia is a heavyweight in the spiders. So if you look at the spiders, all right, the spiders went up to 604 yesterday. Granted, even with Google being down so much, Nvidia, being the heavyweight that it is, pushed the spiders higher. So this was my hourly chart, and I mentioned this also in the previous video from the day before. I mean, let me go to let's stick to the hourly. That's fine. I had this parallel channel here set from 2 days ago that I was kind of eyeing, and so I guess if you extend this a little bit, let's see where this, I think I can't remember if it was yesterday's morning video that I said I expected the spiders to go into 604. It tagged 604 yesterday. Like, did it tag 604 yesterday? Let's see here. Yeah, it tagged 604 yesterday, right? So, but now it's into heavy resistance, and it's trading up a little bit in the morning. A little bit of a gap up higher. So again, there's a lot of resistance here. I mean, this seems to be quite the overhead. So I don't think we're going to go much higher. I think 605. Okay, I think if we do go higher, maybe 605, and then probably see it come back down. And I'm guessing that if and let's just go to the semiconductors real quick. Semis on a daily basis are also, and this has a lot to do with Nvidia. Okay, look at this trend line that I had set. It's right into that trend line, right below the 50-day moving average. So it's coming. Semiconductors are coming into heavy resistance. There's a lot of resistance right here. Nvidia is up against resistance. Where's Nvidia? Right here. Okay, so I would not be surprised to see Nvidia come back down, which would bring down the semis. It'll bring down the spiders. And then that's for my guess for today's action, and that's just a guess. That's not financial advice. Speculating over here, but we'll see what happens with Amazon earnings tonight. It's down. It's trading a little bit lower. Yesterday it traded lower from the day before, so who knows? Maybe this thing is gonna pop after earnings, and we'll see what happens with the spiders then. What else do I want to talk about? Well, Tesla. Let's talk about Tesla. Tesla is trading lower in the pre-market. I saw this yesterday. Tesla it gave up all of its gains and then some from the day before. And, I'm like, what the fuck is going on with Tesla? So I looked at it, hourly chart, even on a daily chart, really. I mean, any chart. I mean, this is bearish. I mean, this is similar to AMD's, pattern, all right, where it topped out at the 489 or 490, whatever. Came down, you got some sort of a wave here. And, so this is all, to me, it looks bearish. I mean, the earnings that came out, I guess, weren't that great, but Tesla is beloved. So, It got a pop, and now it's selling off, and it's trading below the 50 and the 20-day moving average. It's hovering below this trend line, which right now all of this is overhead, so it can't, unless it gets some really incredible news, it's not gonna go back up, But then again, it's Tesla. Tesla, like fucking a whisper in the positive news would cause it to go higher. Who knows, So my guess is, based on what I'm seeing in the chart, this is going lower. I actually put a short on this yesterday, and God willing, knock on wood. Hold on, knock on wood. Let's hope this thing holds, continues further. I expect it to come down to like the 360 level. So we'll see how far it goes down today. If it slips below here, I mean, it's right at this. It's holding this pivot low right here at 370 right at the top of this candle. We're close right above it. So there is some, short-term support right here. So I wouldn't be surprised if this gets a bid, but we'll see how long it takes for it to actually get down further. So we'll see. Anyhow, all right, let's see what's left. Let's go. Gold and silver. Gold went, had a huge day yesterday, huge week, so it gave back just a little bit. Yesterday it tagged 28.82. This thing's on its way to $2,900. Silver had a decent day the day before yesterday, and it's pulling back. Well, it actually had a decent day yesterday, and then it's pulling back. It went into resistance. I also traded the silver miners yesterday. I saw it. I was hoping it would hit 30, but it didn't. It's up against. Let me get this thing going here. I want to get these lines. So it 29.63. I was hoping it would go a little bit higher, but it just wasn't going to make it. But based on an hourly chart, I just measured this 270. I think was like the highest this thing was going to go. So I took what little profit I could take, and I ran. And I expected it to come back down a little bit. I thought it would come back a little bit further, and it could, because right now you've got the 10-year up a bit. All right, so interest rates are higher, and you got the dollar trading back up a little bit. All right, so that's what's kind of messing around with the metals right now. They got a bid as the dollar went down and the 10-year. And now that both of these, the dollar and the 10-year, are trading higher, the metals are selling off a little bit. So it makes sense. And we'll see where this goes. I don't think it's going to, it's going to hover around here somewhere. But, I don't know what, I really can't control. I can't control anything. I have no control. But the dollar is unpredictable. I mean, then, who knows what happens globally. Can it go higher? It can go higher, Let's see what else I want to talk about. Oil is still getting pummeled. It's getting a little bit of a bid today, but we'll see what happens if this thing's ever going to wake back up and go higher. For short term, natural gas. We'll see. It still wouldn't be surprised. Natural gas. I don't know. It's kind of tough right now. I don't know what it's doing. It's kind of like lingering right here, right in like the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's on top of support, but anything can happen. It could go. I don't think it's going to go much higher, but we'll see. We'll see. It all depends, I guess. It depends on how much tech sells off. All right, guys. Enough with the guessings. For the most part, that's kind of my data for today. I think, again, speculation, not advice. I think we're going to see Nvidia, and I think Nvidia is going to come down a little bit. It might go a little bit higher, maybe tag 128 or so, and then probably come back down. And we might see spiders come back a little bit lower and see what happens after there. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful day. Cheers to you all. Thank you for watching the channel and tuning in. Please subscribe and support. Hit the like button. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching.